All right, guys, back on the video today, and the common staple of my garage is here. This guy Keith here. This guy, you know, we got button up here, I think, aren't we?
Yeah, we're gonna get the exhaust all done.
Yep. You got the O2 sensor extenders on.
Yeah, I just gotta find the front plug on this one. I seem to have lost it.
No, we don't need it. If it's not here, we don't need it. But yeah, today we're gonna put the rest of the headers on. I'm gonna cut these about here. We're gonna measure, and then yeah, I mean, this thing's almost ready to start up. I mean,
yeah, fuel system.
Fuel system is getting done today.
I even picked up fluids for it, so we can put some oil and some coolant.
Yeah, we got all the necessities over here.
Yep.
Got the pipes that are going in today, and oil, and the other stuff, and you know, all the necessities basically. Cooler full of beverages that we got, so we'll get into that later. But yeah, here's the where's the fuel hat here?
Yeah.
Pull that out of there for me. Wow, look at this thing. Don't worry about that. Oh, okay. It's like a plug-and-play unit.
Well, I'm glad you think it's plug and play. That scares the crap out of me.
Oh, that's not a problem. Yep, 10 AN feed, 6 AN return. Yep. No, I'm sorry, 8 AN return. Wow. Gonna put two or three fuel pumps in here. This can hold 3.
It can hold 3.
We're doing 3.
We're doing 2.
Let's do 3.
No, we're not doing 3.
If it's made to hold 3, you guys gotta attack him in the comments later, because this is supposed to be a 3-pump system here. But
it can be a 3-pump system.
Well, how are you gonna get to 1,200 horsepower with only 2 pumps?
Listen, we got a little ways to go before we go 1,200, but.
Well, all the lines are here. Here, Keith, can you hold that for a second?
Yeah.
That's a new one there. So what's that? Billet, that thing?
Yeah, I guess
Feels
it's
like
made
it.
by Division X.
Yep. And we got all the lines here, and
I bought this from Lethal Performance.
Lethal.
Yep, with the rest of the kit. So.
Yep. And these are all the socks and the filters and everything for the fuel kit.
Stuff, right?
No, not at all.
It's pretty complete.
Yeah. But
I mean, this was pretty impressive. I saw the wiring harness.
that's a fuel rewire.
Yeah. And just you know, the relays. It just looks pretty simple. Don't look that bad actually.
No, we can take care of it.
Grounds.
So we got the fuel pressure gauge here. Where are we gonna put this thing?
I think there's instructions
On the rail, or?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, it goes on the rail more than likely.
Okay.
I've always put my water filled gauges on the rail, so. But we're gonna get to that. You know, we got a whole fuel system to do today.
A fuel pressure regulator that we have to adjust. I hope you know how to do that.
Yeah, we can take care of that. It's no big deal. So, but that's what we're getting into now. We're gonna start by finishing off the exhaust. Get it all mated up nice. And those are the couplers that came with the kit over there on the bench, aren't they?
Yep.
Yeah, we didn't see these in the box earlier. But these were 3-inch ID to 3-inch ID. So that's gonna mate the exhaust together. And we're gonna go from there. Get excited now, Keith. What do you think?
I'm getting excited, man.
So.
I want to hear this thing run today, so we got a lot of work to do. So.
And it's already freaking
too late.
1:45. Somebody had to go away last night for the weekend, so you got here kind of late today. So, all right, guys, when we get started now, we'll get back to you. All right, guys, as you can see, Keith's motto is measure once, cut 6 times from that time lapse there. But yeah, we trimmed it back a little bit, back to here. We're gonna get the old deburring tool out and get the metal shavings off. And these are almost ready to go in. I mean, if you want to try mounting that one up, Keith, let me say.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, they'll go up. Yep, we can do that.
This one's kind of tight stuff.
This goes right here.
You know.
We had it on, but you wanted to take it back off.
Well, I don't know where to cut, you know, so. I like making your life miserable, too, so.
I know.
But, yeah, we might gotta deburr that one. Now it's a matter of getting which one on where first. Yeah, put that one down there. All right, and it's a 3-inch piece, you said, right? So you can compensate the difference on each side. We get a hammer and knock it over that to your right a little bit, or that even works right there, honestly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's sagging now, but once we tighten the bolts down over here, it'll swing it, pull it right up. Are you happy with where this is, like,
yeah, I'm good.
height-wise? Okay. Because once you tighten these ones down like that, that's perfect. Yep. That's a straight shot too. So, all right, guys, I'll give you a little update of Keith's antics with his measuring capabilities. So, all right, we're gonna move on to the other side now. All right, fellas, the exhaust is mounted. It's in. Everything's tight. Everything's squared away here. Everything's really solid. Keith found the plug for the O2 sensor. It goes up top, up there. So we gotta pull that up there and tie it out of the way so it doesn't hit the header. Because it's like leaning right here now. So, but the rest are all plugged in. All the O2 sensors are squared away and tightened down, and you know, the exhaust is on. What do you think, Keith?
I think this car will not be driven on public roads.
This is gonna be a little bit loud. It might get a little noisy in this thing. So, but yeah, we put these clamps like this for a reason, because when they hang straight down, they just don't look good.
Yeah, I don't know if they're as long if they're straight down or not, but we were talking, we could just zip it off.
We just angle them. We're gonna like cut the ends off of here.
See what it looks like when we put it on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, if it's highly visible from like under the car, like behind you or something, we'll cut them off, whatever. Yeah. So, but the exhaust is together. Got it all. We cut the X pipe, which wasn't that hard to do, and that's it. Now we're gonna move on to what? We're gonna plug in that O2 sensor.
Yeah, we're gonna plug in that O2 sensor, tie off some wires, and I think start tackling the fuel system.
Yeah,
and go from there.
Here we go, fellas. We'll get back to you.
All right, Richie. What we got going on here,
bud? Well, this is where the fun begins. This is the actual best part of the whole entire build. This is, we took the back seat out. We took this thing off of here, which was the wiring for the fuel pump. I don't think we're gonna be reusing this because we have an aftermarket fuel rewire. What do they call it? The fuel. It basically rewires the fuel pump so that it draws voltage directly, I think, from the battery. So I don't know. That's how it was on the Evo, but this is probably different. So it's probably the same idea. They just want to get like a heavier gauge wire to run 2 pumps instead of 1. So, but right now we're working on getting this clip off of here to remove this fuel line. And then, believe it or not, this is a similar cap to what's on the Hellcat, because if you remember, you have to twist it or hit it with a mallet to get it to turn. They make a special tool they sell to sit on top of it, to turn it with a wrench and get it back down.
But we got another way to do it, right, Richie?
Well, I hope so. Yeah, if it worked on the 300, it'll work on this car too. So, but yeah, we're gonna try and get this clip off of here now. This is the factory fuel feed line, which is like a 3/8. What do you consider even a 3/8? I think it's a 3/8.
Yeah, it's probably 3/8.
10mm 3/8, same thing. But yeah, oh, there goes that. All right, well, that clip is off. We're not gonna reuse this anyway, so.
Yeah, the stock fuel line is used no more.
Right, so we got the clip off. Now it's just a matter of popping this off, and you know, we got the trunk there. We can fold that seat down, get some more light here if we have to. But yeah, this is where it gets a little bit interesting, you could say. To you know, I don't know what's under that side, Keith. You probably know better than I would.
I don't know. Wasn't that the crossover on the 300?
That might be the crossover, like the 300. Possibly. Yeah, I think it's the same thing.
I think it's the same thing.
Because it would make sense. They're both rear-wheel drive. The drive shaft's in the middle. It's a saddle-style fuel tank. Saddle-style fuel tank. So, you know, it could be possibly just the same idea, you know, for the most part. So, but yeah, we're gonna get to it right now.
All right.
Keith, I got to tell you, some fucking mess you got us in.
You know, you said you weren't going to say that when we did this update.
I did say that, you're right.
All right, what do we got going on here? What are you doing?
We're putting these plugs in this fancy dandy Division X fuel hat, I call it, for some reason.
That's what they call it, I think, too.
Yeah, so I'm just putting these block-offs in these locations so that what you just told me a minute ago makes sense. Because
which is, what did I tell you? So the bottom one, we are going to take their recommendation, and this is for the return.
And you can see the return is here. It goes, the return screws in here. It goes into this actual pipe here.
Correct.
And that either lets the fuel return come out the bottom or the side. We plug the bottom, so now it'll come out the side.
Yeah, they said that the side is better for aeration.
Aeration. And I would assume that this thing might go on the side maybe for the return. I don't know. This looks like it was meant to do this.
Well, we'll go back to the instructions for that piece.
Instructions.
What about these fuel pumps?
Those are going in now.
And what do we do there?
These we just slide through like so. We put O-rings in here already. So you slide this back in. The O-rings, as you can see, help it seat securely. And these two things have to line up. These two
so one of these is going to get plugged into the appropriate
whichever one we choose to go with.
And we're going to make sure that we pick the right one off the top here, because we're going to have to wire these to the wiring harness.
Right. So this thing is going to be
over here,
like similar to it's just going to be like plug and play, like so. Like it'll just go together, like 1, 2, 3. You know.
Okay.
You have to determine where, you have to know which lines you're using up top, like find out which ones they are and stuff like that. So, and we got the fuel line here. We're gonna put that on here. We have all the necessary parts and such, just to tighten down the fuel lines. We have the fuel socks, fuel lines. We have lots of clamps. All these are for installing.
Little spider somewhere. There he is.
That's all right. This is the fuel line here. We're gonna cut this accordingly and put it in here. And then use the clamps to secure it. It's very elementary, honestly.
Well, I'm glad you think it's elementary.
It is.
I thought it was more like Einstein.
No, it's elementary. So we're gonna squeeze these together real good, like so. Get it real tight, and then these are gonna hang off the bottom. Put the socks on the bottom.
Factory fuel sender, right?
Factory fuel level sensor. Yes, and this is where the crossover pipe's gonna go to feed the passenger side of the car. So. We're plugging away, and we're making progress. So,
all right.
It's intimidating to look at, but it's really not that bad. And this is the dash 10 fuel line I screwed in here.
Yeah, they gave us a pretty good amount of fittings and all the good stuff, so I think we should be covered.
Yeah, it's really not that bad. Like I said, it's like if you don't know what you're looking at, it could be intimidating. But luckily for Keith, I've been down this road once or twice before.
Luckily for
me.
Luckily
for Keith. Otherwise, he was sitting here twiddling his thumbs.
Shaking, scratching my head. All
right. That's where we're at. And, yeah, like I said, it's really all not that bad now. It's just like doing little stuff like this clips on here. That's it, and you're on. Like, a little bit further down, but you get the general idea. So, that's what we're doing.
All right, let's get it done.
And, you showing the inside?
I briefly went in there.
We're going to take the seats out. We have to run that red cable behind Keith all the way to the front of the car, and such. So, but yeah, we have to route the lines under the tank and under the car and towards the front of the engine, and that should be it.
Hook her up, download a tune.
Hook her up, download a tune, fire it up. And,
all right,
that's it.
Let's do it.
Let's go. All right, guys, I got it in. It was a major struggle. There's lack of room to film in here. I couldn't film it for you, but it's definitely in the car. It was a major struggle, even to get the crossover line on. We were just fighting that like 10 seconds ago, just to get it squared away and, stuff like that. And we're going to get this thing to a point where we'll have all the wires in the car today. We won't be able to start it because we're missing a harness that goes on here for these two fuel pumps. And these are for the, whatchamacallit, the fuel level sender or whatever. But these are all squared away. We're missing a harness that goes to this thing. So we're missing the male end. We're missing a harness that has open wires on it. You splice them together, heat shrink them, and then it will plug in to this harness here. And we're gonna run this harness under the fuel tank and stuff like that. So yeah, we're getting there. We have to do these two power feed lines all the way to the front of the car. And we got our rising rate here with the reference. And we also have the fuel filter, which goes under the car. We have our gauge that goes on the aeromotive system here. And, the rising rate rather, sorry. But, yeah, we're gonna pull the seats out of the car and run the wires all the way up to the front to the fuse box. And it's gonna be one challenging episode to get the wires under the carpet all the way to the front of the car, through the firewall to the fuse box. And this is a ring that holds It held this one in place. It'll also hold the new one in place. There's a special tool they sell. It's a fuel ring removal tool. Keith's got to order one to put this thing back on. We use a hammer and a brass hammer and a screwdriver to pop it off, but reinstalling it's going to be a trick. So, but we have all the lines out. We're going to take the seats out of the car, which is next. We're going to run the wires all the way to the front of the car, put the seats back in the car, put the car up in the air, run the wires up to the fuel rail, because yeah, that's the next step. So that's the feed right there, and we're going to run it up. This is the old fuel feed line. We should remove that, but I don't think we can now, but it's just in the way. But what do you think, Keith? Sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan, man.
Keith is getting frustrated because we're missing that harness.
That harness really is disappointing. I mean, we definitely could wire it, but they didn't include a wiring diagram, so you don't know what wires.
What to go where, right? So, in other words, we're gonna wait a week to get that harness to start the car. So,
unless we can find something to show a wiring diagram, which
I'm not gonna get.
Not gonna get. So we'll look a little bit. But
not likely. So yeah, that's what's next. Like I said, I couldn't put you in the car with me because there's just no room to work, but we got it finally installed. And that's it. Let's move on to this thing. You ready?
Ready.
Let's go. All right, guys, we ran to a couple of roadblocks today, mostly the fuel system. We just couldn't get the tank to come down and, you know, get the rest of the stuff in there, you know, so.
I mean, the power's wired to it, the wiring harness is in the car, but we have the quick connect that goes
to the fuel
rail is not clicking in correctly.
It's not the right size, yeah.
So we can't even route the fuel line from the engine, you know, back underneath the car.
Right, and we also couldn't get the tank down because the top of the fuel sender is like towards the front of here, like straight up actually. And if you just drop this strap down, which the hex head stripped, so we can't even drop this strap down to make the tank like drop this way. So even if it did drop that way, there's only a pivot here. This is like a little like a bolt that goes across. So the pivot, it would just spring the tank this way. So that's not helping us. We gotta, this is the factory feed line right here. So, but to get a -10 line in there is like super, super tight, you know, so.
And perfectly honest, I mean, the Division X and the lethal wiring harness instructions are just not enough for somebody who doesn't really totally understand exactly what, you know what I mean? Like, we have 6 wires and it's pretty simple. It's only 2 power and 2 ground. Like, it makes it is simple, like what you need, but what are you supposed to hook them up to? Are you supposed to hook them up to the original wiring harness, to that BCM? There was no instructions on how to do that.
It just doesn't tell you what to do.
It just does not tell you what to do with that.
At which point you're stuck figuring out for yourself.
You know, and their lethal support videos are okay, but they're, you know, Jared is like a little making it sound very, very easy, but it's not quite as easy as he makes it sound. You know?
Yep, so we're stuck for today. We're not gonna start it up. You know, we got a late start today, early in the day. So, but you know, we're gonna get back out next Sunday, and hopefully we have another like wiring harness to go. Maybe a coupler, like you were saying, Keith, if they have it.
They don't have it. I mean, it's not on their website. It was on one of their videos from well over a year ago, but it's not. I'm gonna call and try to get some help and see what we can figure out. But when I asked them if they had it entirely plug and play, they said they did not.
Right.
They said you have to do some wiring at the hat, which is where we're at.
Yeah.
But besides that, we can't even get the lines in there. So we have a whole. So needless to say, it's a depressing day.
Yes, it's unfinished. We were a fuel system away from starting the car, and we just these couple last hurdles will just, you know, not doing us in, you know. So, but That's gonna be it for this week's video. I'm sure to catch you guys next week, and we'll see if we can get this thing solved for Keith. Get the car started up and just, you know, hear her scream. So we'll catch you guys next time. You know, be sure to subscribe, share with your friends, ring the bell. Catch you guys next week.